Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television GPTV. I'm Brett. In my hands is a Dr. Werthless. This is from the creators of Did You Hear What Eddie Gain Done? If you've never read that graphic novel, I think that graphic novel is one of the best to be released in many, many years. It's about the serial killer that was the basis of so many horror films, but was real life. So this is a really fascinating look in history on Dr. Frederick Wertham. I know kind of basics about him. Obviously, I know his crusades about comics, but beyond that, I knew very little. So I'm going to go take this at face value that this team did their research. It's by Harold Schechter and Eric Powell, who wrote it together. Eric Powell did the art, and it is fantastic as expected. This is going to be absolutely on tons of best of lists, and I have no doubt it's going to win a lot of awards when that time comes. This is an examination of Frederick Wertham. We get the history of the infamous psychologist who was at the center of the crusade against comic books, claiming that they corrupted the youth and needed to be censored, that eventually led to the Comics Code Authority. And what's interesting is it really it paints a fascinating picture of this person, and he comes off as not sympathetic, but almost tragic in some ways. He is a character of like a person of like many sides, very very progressive in many ways. He treated his patients really well. His failures, and I think he's pointed out many times in this, is that he was very narrow-focused in that when he believed he was right, and would not really listen to anyone who disagreed with him. And I think that had to do with a lot of his downfall and his failures. It does a great job of taking us through his history, his foibles, his personality issues, his clashes with other doctors, his almost like complete collapse into failure. But also like his triumphs. He went and created a clinic in New York City. I'm pretty sure it was New York City for the African American community who was not being treated well by doctors just because of the color of their skin. He put together doctors in a fairly, well, I'll call it a fairly free clinic. People wanted to pay him something, so he charged a quarter for it, and helped that community. It's one that, he did good. He also did a lot when it came to criminals, examining their motivations and often going onto the stands for that. He was one of the key people in Brown versus Board of Education, some of the earlier cases, where he basically testified that separate but equal caused psychological damage to those who were separated, so therefore it was not separate but equal. It was actually separate but unequal due to the trauma that it inflicted on individuals impacted by it. So he really was progressive in a lot of ways. Where he was not progressive is he went on this crusade and convinced that violence through entertainment created violence at home. Through individuals in real life, that they would be influenced, and it's something that echoes today. We've seen it in like Panic about Dungeons and Dragons. We've seen it in Panic in video games. Any way you cut it, through every single study, it shows that there is little to no connection at all. That aggression just comes out from individuals, and they can be triggered by whatever. I think there was one famous study that had people read the Bible, and it caused aggression. It takes us through that history. It takes us through the Senate hearings. It's something I've always been fascinated by, that history. And I still remember this day. It was my first day as an intern on Capitol Hill, working for a senator. Was walking into the hearing room where it took place, and that's the case that was brought up by the person that was taking us around and introducing us, to the various locations in the Senate. That's what they said, and she said this was where the hearings were taken, were held for anti-comics crusade. It was fascinating. I think I took photos, and still have those photos today of me in that room. I had a fascination with this, but I think this paints a really big picture and an excellent picture at Wertham, and some good that he did. and how he, was impacted by, like, the people who he saw was against him. It really just seemed to come down to, like, a lot of what he ran into in the negative of his life was really just due to his personality and his almost adamant belief that he was right all the time. The graphic novel does go into the fact that his presentation of the facts when it came to comics and their corruption of the youth was just filled with errors, that he overlooked facts to make his case. This is all things we know people do. His scientific methods were anything but scientific. It's really interesting. I think it's a great depiction of his life. There's a nice bibliography in the back going through everything. This is, to me, some great comic history in comic form. The irony of it. Of course, it's got the art by Eric Powell. It goes through a lot in the beginning with the criminals that Wertham worked for, and went into detail with these criminals and the crimes they committed, and they are horrific. If you've read the Eddie Gaines graphic novel, this still made me wince. Like, it's just how crazy some of this stuff is. The art is absolutely amazing. I mean, Eric Powell is one of my favorite artists. Consistently knocks it out of the park. And I think the comic does this awesome bit, kind of pivoting to, comic within a comic at one point. This is awesome. It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. I think it's an amazing thing also of, the celebrity and the people that kind of were in Wertham's orbit, and he was in their orbit, and, everything that he kind of touched upon. There's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad, and I think the graphic novel kind of leaves it up to the reader. I mean, my takeaway is I think it really depicts him as an interesting, tragic individual who meant well, but went on to a zealot crusade that was very flawed, and wouldn't listen to his detractors, where he might have been able to been talked out of it and done even more wonderful things. But yeah, it really, I think, does an excellent job of kind of painting the tragedy of it all. There's some stuff in the back, as I said, there's a bibliography, there's some sketches, art from Powell going over some stuff. There's a lot of historical stuff, like on this page is drawings from kids from Wertham. There is, I'm trying to think, some other stuff, some other historical stuff like out of the Library of Congress, of Wertham's materials. This is amazing. I have no doubt that this is going to be an award-winning graphic novel when its time is due for all that. Absolutely fantastic. I would argue probably one of the best things I've read this year. And go get it. Highly, highly recommend it. Great, great graphic novel. Amazing art, amazing storytelling, amazing history. It's everything you could want in a graphic novel. Out now, you can go get it. We got a link beneath our video. Put in your zip code, tell the comic shops near you. No shop, no problem. We've got links where you can purchase your own. There'll be affiliate links, so we do get a small percentage. By doing that, you help support our site. And speaking of support, just watching our videos support us as always, so thank you as well. If you are into comics, check us out every day at graphicpolicy.com. And of course, we're on Facebook, TikTok, Mastodon, Threads, Blue Sky, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, keep reading those comics and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.